Hey guys, welcome. Nito LR here, and we're here for another episode of Photoshop video game font. Anyways, and today's topic is Sonic the Hedgehog. So for anybody who's been trying to do like a font for a project or something like that, we're going to show you how to design something similar to it. Anyway, stay tuned. We're about to get into this. Okay guys, so for this tutorial, it's a little easier than the other ones just because the font is more readily available. If you don't know how to find the text or the font, all you do is Google it pretty much. You just saw Sonic font. I believe I brought it up on a separate tab. Yeah, here we go. So all you have to do is look it up, Sonic font, and I believe it's, I forgot the name of the website. There it is, like almightyguru.com. There's a bunch of websites where you can pull it from, but this is the one I got. So the one on the top, they have all the other ones that you can download as well. You know, for like Emerald Hill Zone. It's like the classic Sega Genesis text from his games. So, and this is the one that you want. You want Sonic title font. So that being said, you just would download it. Just click on it. It prompts you for it if you have WinRAR, which is what I use to extract it, and then all you would do is simply, once you have, open it up. I already have it loaded. It comes up as the font, and then all you do is click and drag it. And the way you would search that up, you just type in fonts in your search bar, and it brings it up. The very first one with the little A symbol next to it. And then click and drag it over, and then it'll ask you. So here, I'll show you. So I already have it, but it'll prompt me. It says, do you want to replace? No, I don't, because I already have it. Okay, moving forward. Now let's get into it. Photoshop. Alright, so right here, it doesn't really matter what kind of canvas size you want. Just something big, I guess, so you could have a higher res picture. I guess we'll just leave it as the default dimensions that I have for a Facebook cover photo. So if you want to do something for Facebook, like a, I don't know, little picture for yourself or your profile, then you could do that. So we'll go into that. Alright, so now we're just going to get our text tool, and we're going to look for that font. Should just be titled Sonic, but let's see. Passing out. There it is. Ha! My bad, guys. Alright, so now we're just going to start off with the simple Sonic. Oh, okay, so you can't do capitals, just so you guys know that. If you go to hold capitals down, it turns invisible for some stupid reason. It's all one layer. Alright, so here, let's full screen that. Bring that to the left side. And alright, so that's what we got so far. Let's zoom in a bit. Alright, so pretty much it looks already, the font does a lot of the work. So if we go back to our picture, okay, so right here, we'll just copy this image so we have like for reference. Edit, paste. Alright, so let's zoom out a little bit. Alright, so we're going to take our transform tool. If you guys don't already know the shortcut, if you hold shift, it keeps the proportion right for the picture. So it doesn't do like an off scaling like that. Control Z that. You just hold shift and it will bring it back. And then boom, apply transformation. So I'm just doing this so we have a reference. And then we just use our quick selection tool, or our magic wand tool, I'm sorry, just to get the rest of that stuff. So that right there is what we essentially want to go for. We're going to use this for like color reference. Also too, I noticed that they're a little like longer. We can transform that actually. All right, so let me just bring this back down to the side. Transform it again. Boom. All right, let's get it out of our way. Apply. Alright, let's move our font a little bit over this way. Okay, so now if we take the text tool, alright, and over here, this panel, it lets you transform it differently. Right here, you could see how we can make it wider, or shrink it down, make it taller, skinnier. So also too, we can control the spacing in between the lettering with this as well. So that actually just shrinks the text, but there is a way to do it. Oh, here it is. See, this controls the spacing in between the letters. Alright, so we have that. Now it looks alright. It doesn't look as stretched out as it used to look. So with this, it has a pretty simple gradient. I can just tell by looking at it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go right click this, and we want to go to blending options. Alright, so we just drag this window up so it's not in our way, because we need to use the eyedropper tool to grab from the colors. We want to do gradient overlay. Alright, from here, and it says pick the two colors. So from here, since the black's on the bottom, then we're going to go with this really bright yellow, and then click the other box for the white, and then you're going to go all the way to the top and get this dark orangey yellow. So okay, simple enough. It pretty much does it, and it seems to have a stroke on it. Yeah, and then the stroke is an inverted gradient. So we're going to do gradient, and I think we could control the angle of it too. Okay, yeah, there's like a slight angle. I don't know if you guys can tell. Right, I'm gonna just reselect the colors. Okay, so now it's the opposite. That orange is towards the bottom. Oops, it grabbed the blue. I have no idea why it grabbed the blue. That's weird. Why is it grabbing a blue? Okay, there we go. We'll just grab from the original picture. It's stupid. Alright, and the same thing, the opposite side. Grab the white. You want to grab that yellow. Let's see. So we kind of already got that kind of look to it already. So, and then there's like a slight angle. Yeah, it's like that. And I think that might be trying to see if the stroke size might make a difference. No, we'll leave it at 3. 3 looks about right. Okay, and we kind of got that angle like where the yellow is coming from the top part. But it looks like the yellows has a higher gradient, so we might just change the gradient colors. So the yellow, I want the yellow on the top to be brighter. Yeah, it seems like a brighter. And then the same thing with this orange, we'll just grab from that. I made the picture so small, I should have enlarged it. Oops. Okay. You know what, too? I noticed it almost looks like it might have a bevel to it as well. And we can mess around with that. You know what? Let me just do this. We got this gradient that we have, and we'll just call it, I don't know, Sonic Colors. Not referencing the game. Alright, hit new. It adds the gradient there, so we don't have to keep reselecting the colors. Hit OK. Alright, so, I mean, that looks not bad, but let's see if we can get it slightly better. And the same thing, too, I noticed that the gradient, You notice how like the bright yellow is more towards like the top of the S on this side, and kind of drifts towards the center of the O. Let's see if we can mess around with that. It's not bad. Let's see if we can pull it back a little bit. We got the orange kind of right. Just the yellow. I feel like the yellow needs to be brighter on the top side. Let's just see if we can. Maybe this yellow might be better. Why is it pulling blue? That's so weird. Oh, okay. I see why. I see why. Because it's the original font is blue. Like because we're putting an effect on it, so it's grabbing blue from the top. So I'm trying to grab the brightest yellow we can get. Yeah. All right. We'll just leave it like that. That doesn't look too bad. Okay. All right. And I wanted to see if a bevel would be like a better choice. Let's see. So for the top, for the brights, we want that yellow, bright yellow. And then for the, well, that was for the shadow, I'm sorry. For the shadow, we want that orange. And then for the brights, we want that bright yellow. Seeing if that actually makes a difference. We wanted the gradient we had, what was it? No, the stroke. We had a 77 degree. 77. We could just type it in. See, maybe that might look a little. Actually, that doesn't look too bad. I don't know what you guys might think. That doesn't look too bad to me. Oops, 77 I meant to do. Let me bring it down a little bit. Set like an altitude for it. Trying to get that like, yeah, where the is on the top. Bring the angle a little bit. I'm just kind of playing around with it to see if I can get that kind of perfect type of deal. Alright, so you could either go with either one. Like this kind of like makes it pop out more, but if you wanted to use the stroke, you can as well. I mean, it's really whatever you guys want to do if you want to make it look like that. But actually, this doesn't look too bad, and I can even turn the thing down to 1 so it kind of has like more of a crisp edge. Let me see if I can 2. I don't know if 2 really throws it off. At bevel and boss, we got an angle of 48. Let's try, see if we can mess with the angles a little bit. 48. Nah, doesn't look as good. 77. No, let's try 79. I mean, we get that more of a. See, it kind of like the bevel kind of like really like adds like this like the text kind of like really pops out. But if we're going for that like classic look, I guess we could play around and see what they both look like. So with that being said, yeah, it looks more original to the font that we're going for here. So I'm just gonna bring it back to 3. We could play around with it and do like a duplicate one for the bevel. Okay, so now that we got that, that's pretty much it for that I can see. Now for the background, for that the Sonic, like if you see, like if you look towards it, it's got this like blue, dark blue kind of background, and then it has like a stroke around it as well. It's like a black outline to it. So let's do this. There's multiple ways of approaching this. What we're gonna do is copy this layer. Let's duplicate it. We're gonna duplicate the Sonic layer that we have, and we're gonna get rid of these effects. Go back into blending options, and the stroke we want to give it maybe even an emboss. I did a previous tutorial, my Smash one, where I did a pillow emboss, or kind of like let's see. It's no gradient overlay. The stroke. Alright, you know what? Just let's cancel this for a second. Let me just take that away. Alright, back. Blending options. Right, bevel emboss. Let's see the size of it. The emboss. No, it's not the emboss. I'm sorry, guys. Alright, what we're going to do is this stroke here. Wonder why it's not messing around. Blending option. Stroke. Cancel. Boom. Color. It's not showing up on the font. Wonder why is that? Oh, I see. My gosh. Simplest of things. Alright, so make sure you have the effects button clicked on. Sorry, that was a derp on my part, guys. Anyways, back to it. Blending options. So now that we have that, that bevel emboss looks horrible. Stroke, and we want to bring the stroke up a little bit. It looks like that might be as much as it is. So go for a 13, I want to say. Even 13 might be a little bit too much. 12. Yeah, that's not bad. 12, maybe even 11. Let's see how 11 looks. Okay, so that doesn't look too bad. We got these edges. I'm trying to see if we can get more of like a crisp edge. Actually, it's not bad. They have more of a points on the sides, but it's not that big of a deal. Alright, so we're gonna hit OK. And now to get rid of, like, because you see there's a hole where the O is and where the C is, we're just gonna do is take our brush tool and okay, so what we're able to do is it will turn the font into a picture. So what we're going to do is, now that we have our brush tool, not so big, I don't know why it did that. So, and we have the blue here. So what it's going to do is, you're pretty much coloring over the picture, and where it detects, like where there's nothing on the thing, for instance, here, let me just try to explain this the best I can. Where the background is showing. If you draw over it, you're technically drawing on the picture, so the background won't be showing there, for instance. So you're just going to kind of color over it. So you see how it gets rid of that background like that. Whoops. Control Z that. And trying to get close to the edge so it doesn't pop out, but it kind of completes that. The same thing, so you see where the S is here? It's kind of connected towards the top of the S, so we're just going to color that. And all this is really, don't need to have the edges showing, because once we turn it into a picture again, it's gonna get rid of all those like hard edges, because the actual picture will do that for it. Okay, so now we got that. And Control Z to get that like perfect angle. Okay, it's just about right. I think I got this brush size just a little bit too big. I can get more precise. Alright, so just to see what it looks like, see if I can do something like, yeah, got poly lasso tool here. Alright, so that didn't work. Just trying to get like a nice sharp like edge. See if it does anything. Turn up the day. There you go. Just wondering why I wasn't doing it. Back to 1. You don't need to do this particularly, but I'm trying to see if I can play around with it and get that like kind of sharp part of the S. Let's see, let's just bring our brush size up a little bit. Not that much. Let's bring it back down just to get that little part of it. Alright, let's see if that did anything. If the stroke was down, it would have. Alright, so you don't necessarily need to do that. I was just kind of playing around with it. Just kind of Control Z until you get to where it was before. Step backwards. Alright, so okay, we're golden now. So everything is the way it is, or the way it needs to be. And now we can do is turn this picture, we're going to do is duplicate it, the layer that we have here, right? And then what we're going to do is hold shift or hold control to select both of them. Right click and hit merge layers. So what it's going to do is turn everything that we had into one solid picture. So then from there we can manipulate it again. So what we're going to do this time, blending options, and we're going to do a color overlay because it doesn't have a gradient. And what we'll do is to the color overlay, and then from here we can do is like select the eyedropper tool, and it'll turn it to that blue. So we're going to just hit OK. Boom. So we have already what we need for the background, but we still have to add a stroke to it just to have that like outline. And the outline is pretty simple. It's like just the color black. It might even be thinner than that. Maybe not that thin. Maybe it's a 3. You know what? We'll go with 3 for now, just to see how it looks. Hit OK, and then what we're gonna do is make the the other layer that we have, the Sonic font, make it visible, and also to drag it behind it. Boom. See, that actually doesn't look too bad. That's like, if anything, it's like spot on, except for like this S, like the C. The shape of the C is kind of off just slightly. See if I can erase a bit of it. And since we have the effects on it, it won't like mess with the black part of it. So I'm just doing is slightly erasing the edge of it to kind of see if I can get the yeah. See? Not too bad. That actually is like pretty spot on. You see, just like the layers or the they're more sharp, I want to say. Like if you look at the edges are more sharp on this than they are on this. But from there you can, you know, manipulate, and you could put any kind of like font that you want, or like not font, any kind of word that you want. Like, you know, just do, I don't know, for the sake of it, like the same exact thing. For instance, here we go, Nito LR. Oh, I forgot I can't do the capitals. Nito. and then LR. Alright, so boom. Just hold shift to shrink it down to size. See? Awesome. Apply. And the cool thing is, because Photoshop is like the truth, all we'd have to do is go to our font over here, right click it, we're going to hit copy layer style, go to my font, we're going to hit paste layer style. Boom. See? It's pretty much already right there. The only thing is, it seems like that yellow, I don't know, the gradient didn't transfer over well. Let me just edit that. Blending options, stroke, and oh, we might have to play with the angle. Yeah, I figured as much, because the font is slightly different. It's probably doing with the scale. Alright, that works just like that. Alright. So now that we got that, it's like pretty much exactly what we did for the Sonic. What we're gonna do is copy this, copy, duplicate it. Boom, we have a copy of it. See, and you know what, just to make this a little bit more cleaned up, let's move this to the top, and we'll just do is create a folder, and then we're just going to call this, so it'll allow me to change the name. There we go, double click it fast, Sonic, we'll call it, since we already kind of completed it. Boom, bring it in, drag it behind it, kind of simplify it, move it out of the way, but we can click it all together to get that same reference. Alright, so now that we're working on the background, we want that same thing. We want to get rid of all these other stuff, but we still want to keep the stroke. And then since the only thing is, because of the text for my name, since there's a space in it, it might be a little tricky, but this probably will help you guys out for anything you're trying to spell out, like, I don't know, whatever. So anyways, blending option, or not duplicate layer, oh my god, I'm sorry guys, I'm derping. Blending options, here we are. Stroke, we want to make that stroke a lot bigger. We want these like kind of to touch a bit. So what we're going to do is bring it to, that might be a little bit too much for my name, because we still want to get those edges. Alright, so we're going to do a 6, and I'm just going to show you guys something. We want that just about, yeah, about there I'd say is good, because if you look at where the blue is, the blue is going to be where the font is. So maybe a little bigger because we have a stroke on the other one. Okay, so we hit OK, and since it was going to apply everything, we want to draw on this one like we did last time. Let's get our brush tool. Oops, brush tool, and turn it into a picture. And then actually what we can do here is kind of cheat a bit. If we drag the selection tool, maybe bring it like there, we're going to bring it down so we can kind of keep those edges, and then we can do is color within that box. So we take the brush tool and just do this. You see, and it kind of that's not bad, but let's see if we can make it a little better than that. No, not so much. Here, we'll do it piece by piece. I made the selection box smaller. And what we're doing is we're looking for those edges. I'm just trying to make the edges look a little nicer. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. And the same thing, we'll drag this box this way. holding shift to make it go faster. Maybe just bring it up this way so it's not so bad looking. Alright, so those edges look better in my opinion, because we want the background to show just like it is up there on the Sonic. We want the blue background to show, but we don't want it to look like one block, like one rectangle of dark blue. We want some of the edges to show, so it kind of keeps that same kind of thing going. So now that we did that, we can release the little square that we have. And now remember, like we did last time, we want to duplicate the layer. Boom. We're going to hold shift, or you can press control to select it. Right click, merge layers. So now what we can do is we can edit from this again. So now, which was cool, like before, since we already have something that has the same layers, what we're going to do is right click, copy layer style, and then go to this one again, and then paste layer style. Boom. See? Kind of took care of it all for us. And now to see it all together, we can kind of hide Sonic and throw mine back up, and we want to do is bring mine to the top. Boom. See? It's alright. Like, we can get the edges better. Like, what you could do is separate them, because you don't have like Nito LR. I would put Nito as one separate and LR as one separate, and you'd have to do the process, twice. Essentially is the same thing. But you see, you can pretty much do whatever you want, and we'll do the same thing for the same sake. Get a folder here, Nito LR, boom, and then we'll drag both of these in there so we can control it all together as one. And then this was the original. And actually, I could show you guys how to do that red box. It's simple. Alright, so now, boom, together. Sonic's there. The Sonic one came out more like official because, we're used to seeing it. My name, not as much, so it's kind of like, not throws you off, but, you know what I mean? It kind of looks a little weird if you were to, you could play around with it and make it look pretty nice. But you see, that's actually not bad. You just bring it there. Like, you could do like that. Nito LR the Hedgehog. See what I mean? But anyways, okay, let's try doing that little red box, which is pretty simple. I know I have it lowered down there, but the effects are super simple to do. It's just a gradient from red to dark red. We have font saying the Hedgehog, and we have like a drop shadow behind it. Simple, real simple. Alright, let's go into it. So what we're going to do is we'll create a new layer. Do this. Okay, so they have it just to match it up from one part of from the S to the C to the very edge of it, and it's probably about like right there. Now what we're going to do is do this. Well, actually, it doesn't matter because we're going to throw a gradient on it, so it really doesn't matter the color. Just paint it in. Boom. Looks good. There it is. We got our rectangle, and we can manipulate it right now just to get it out of the way. Blending options. We want a gradient overlay. Boom. And then like we did before, we're just going to select colors, or you can play around with it too. It's up to you. See, it looks pretty solid. Actually, I might bring that red down a little bit just because it doesn't seem dark enough in my opinion. Yeah, see, that's looking a little better to me at least. Yep. Okay, hit OK. Hit OK. So that part of it is done. What we want to do now is grab our text tool, and we're going to type in. Oh, we're just going to leave it black. We can just do an overlay, color overlay. It's better for visual purposes. Whoops. The Hedgehog. So, like we did before, hold shift to bring it down, scale it accordingly. Alright, also too, I can show you how they have the spacing of this. And so they bring it over a little bit. Alright, so it's going to access to apply the transformation. Yes, we want to. Alright, from taking this, so now we can mess around with like the spacing. See, remember how I told you before this like symbol that says AV? I don't believe this is the actual font for that particular where it says the hedgehog, but I think it can still work the same. I don't know if it's not a particular Sonic one. Because they only have the one from the top one. I guess you could play around with it. You could put any font really. That looks similar to that. But so now we spaced it out. It looks pretty legit. Maybe tone it back a little bit because we want that spacing between the T and the G and the edges of the red rectangle, like kind of the same, just to get that symmetrical kind of thing. Alright, so what we're gonna do is bring it over a little bit. Boom. Alright, now this is where we're gonna go back into our effects. We are going to do blending options. We want that color overlay. We want to turn it white. Boom, there's that. And here also too, let me bring this font, because also too from the bottom and the top of the rectangle. Yeah, bring it down just slightly. Okay, looks better. Apply transformation, yes. And what we're going to do is back to blending options. And now we're going to do a drop shadow. So for here, what I want to do is turn the opacity all the way up. We're going to turn the size down because it's like emulating like the size of a shadow, and then like the distance of it. You see what I mean? So you want the size like or like the smaller the size, the sharper the shadow is. It's like makes pretty much like a duplicate copy of it, and the distance is how far away it is from the actual font. So anyways, we're gonna just do that, and then we can play with the angle of it as well. I think they kind of had it to the side a bit. Alright, it's much smaller than I have it. But it looks like it's directly to the side of it. Let's check it out one more time. Oh no, it's a little further down from it. Yeah, that looks about right. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Also, if we turn it to normal, we'll give it like a more sharper edge than we already did. Alright, and that doesn't look bad right there. Yep, it looks pretty good. Yep, hit OK. Okay, and that should be it. And now what we can do just to simplify it, here we go, just hold shift, right click, merge layers. Now it's all together in one picture, and we can do is like make it bigger if you want to, like to make the proportion right to the actual Sonic part of the logo. Like here, let me show you what I'm talking about. If we maybe bring it up slightly, see if that looks any better. It's okay, but you don't, once you turn it into a picture, you don't want to mess with it too much, because it'll start to distort the resolution of it. I think unless you turn it into a smart object, but that actually doesn't look too bad. And we bring it up because it's a little closer to the C and the S than I thought. Yeah, about right there. Boom. See? And then here we'll hide the thing, the original like kind of reference. We'll throw this in together with the Sonic. So, boom. So here we go. We have the logo here, and we also have, and this is the original reference. You could add the TM if you wanted to, but you don't necessarily have to. But it looks pretty darn close. Anyways, guys, that's how you do the Sonic one. I will also have some more coming up. I've had requests for Monster Hunter and other things like that. See, beautiful, beautiful. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. That's how you do the Sonic one. Hopefully you guys come up with some pretty creative logos yourself. If you have anything you guys want to share, just post in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you. Anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in. Nito Alar signing out.